My name is Swan. I hope you are having a fantastic day. I'm super excited to do some arts and crafts with you today. Today we are going to be painting our very own galaxies. Now this looks like it has a lot of detail in it, but trust me, it is super easy to do and we're going to have a lot of fun doing it. Let's get started. To do our painting today, I have some paper towel, a cup of water, some different brushes. I have a toothbrush. You will find out later what it is for. I have my own art palette, but you can use some old containers or whatever you have at home. I have some blue paints, some pink, some red, and some yellow, and some white and black. All right, everyone, to start our painting, we see a little bit of yellow there. Over here is just where our sun is setting. So I'm going to take some yellow. While that is still wet, I'm going to take some red and blend it into the yellow. Sometimes it helps to dip your brush in a little bit of water to help blend those colors really well. Using the same technique as before, I'm going to take my blue now and blend it into the red. It's okay if you leave this part a bit uncolored because we're going to fill it in with our mountains later. I'm just going to use this blue and fill up my whole page up to about here. All right, now I'm going to take a bit of a darker blue and I'm going to blend it into that other blue. Now the last part of this step is just filling in that last corner with some black. Great job on the first step, everyone. Now before we move on to the next step, it's really important to make sure your paint is dry before we move on. I have a brush that looks like this, but if you don't have one, that's okay. You can just use a kitchen sponge or anything else that's this material. I'm going to dip my brush in some pink, but not too much, or else it'll be too much. And I'm just going to dab it, doing whatever shape I want. If it doesn't look just like mine, that's okay. If you want, you can dab it or you can swirl it like I'm doing. Now I'm going to do the exact same thing except with some dark purple. The last part of this step is taking just a bit of white and we're going to go over those designs we made. Now I am using pink, blue, and purple, but you guys can use whatever colors you want. It's your painting and you guys are going to make them look absolutely fabulous. All right, guys, I think my sky is starting to look pretty cool. Now, you guys remember this toothbrush I was talking about? Do not use the one that you guys brush your teeth with, okay? Make sure you use a really old one that you're never gonna use again. Now, I'm going to dip that in my white paint without using too much or else it's gonna glop on our beautiful painting. I'm gonna take my finger, don't be afraid to get a bit messy, and I'm gonna flick it onto my page to make those beautiful stars. A little tip for this part, the closer you are to your painting, the closer your little splashes are going to be. But the further back I go, then the more spread out my stars are going to go. Once I am satisfied with my flicking motion of my stars, I'm going to take a smaller toothbrush and I'm going to make some bigger stars around it. Now, a really cool idea you guys could do is you could look up different constellations and you could try painting them onto your picture. Just for an example, I am going to try my best to paint the Little Dipper. So that's just like a little ladle going around. I think those stars look pretty cool, guys. Now I'm going to move on and make my big mountains. So for our biggest mountain, I'm going to start over here and climb all the way up and then come back down. Fill in all this space down here with all black. And remember, your mountain does not have to be a perfect triangle, because if you think about it in real life, mountains are not perfect triangles. They can be whatever shape you want. They can come up to here if you want. It could be a little baby mountain. You can make it however you want. I did my mountains a bit big, so my beautiful yellow down here isn't gonna show, but that's okay, because you guys can watch this video. And like I said before, you can make your mountains little down here, or you can make them all the way up here. Now we're getting to the end here, guys. Next, I'm going to make my trees. So get your tiniest paintbrush, and we're going to start by making some thin lines going up here. My paintbrush isn't that thin, so yours are going to look much better than mine. It's okay, I can have some thick trees. Just like the mountains, if you want your trees to go all the way to the top of your canvas, you can make them be that big. And we're just going to make them smaller as I get to the end here over next to my mountain. Now for the leaves of our trees, just take your brush and do some dabbing motions all around and get thinner and thinner as you get to the top. Perfect! I'm sure your trees look wonderful. Alright everyone, moving on to our last part. I just cleaned off my brush so there's no more black on it. I'm going to dip it into my white, and just for some highlights here, I'm going to do some dabbing on the side of my big mountain here. Next, I'm going to grab some pink and go right underneath my white. Lastly, on the other side of my mountain, I'm going to take some dark purple, the same one I used for my sky, and I'm going to fill it in. I'm just going to put a bit more white over here. And once you are done with your mountain, if you want to add more to your galaxy, you can add some shooting stars maybe. You can add some of this detailing to your other mountain. But I am going to say I am done. I am very happy with my painting, and I hope you guys are happy with yours. I am sure they look wonderful. And you guys are done your paintings. Thank you so much for joining me today. I have to go wash all of the paint off my hands, and I hope you guys do too. Thank you so much for joining me. Goodbye.
Thanks for joining the Summer Camp Pals for another great video. For more videos like this, be sure to follow us on Facebook and subscribe on YouTube. We've got great activities for you to follow along with all summer. If you want to hang out with the BGC Pals in person, be sure to check out our after-school program at 20 locations across Durham region, get connected with one of our great evening programs in the fall, or join one of our other amazing programs. You can find details about all of these programs and more at bgcdurham.com. See you next time!